When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep, Watch, Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. If you go back to one of the very early Keep, Watch, Pass episodes, we took a look at the 8 Harry Potter films and picked our keep and our watch and our pass of that series. Now we're going to do something a little different. We're going to look at life outside of Hogwarts. And here to join me on this magical journey, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am still waiting for my acceptance letter, but, I really want the t-shirt inevitably that says straight out of Hogwarts.
Now, that being said, are you going to get an acceptance letter or are you just going to get a howler saying stop contacting us?
Yes.
Yeah.
My fate is much the same as Aunt Petunia. Basically, like, thanks for your application, but you didn't quite make the team.
Right. So here's what we're going to do with this one. Of course, we're going to do our keep and watch and pass picks. The keep being a film that we hold in high regard, or watch being one that, you know what, if it's on, great, cool, no worries. And the pass is one that we would actually pass on. But the films in question must star someone from the Harry Potter Wizarding World series, but it cannot be any of the Wizarding World films. And as an added degree of difficulty, you can only use one actor once. So you can't just sit there and pick 3 Emma Watson films. Cannot happen. You're allowed to pick 1, but not 3. So let's get started with our little magical journey outside the hallowed halls of Hogwarts. So, Carrie, what is your keep pick?
I am going with Mr. Alan Rickman as the good Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh my God, it's such a perfect role for him to take on. Like the minute you mention that film and the minute you mention his role in it, all I can hear, it's like, of course, a spoon, because it would hurt more.
Exactly. Oh my God. You know what? I truly believe growing up, this was my first Alan Rickman film. And I watched this movie 100,000 times.
This was your first Alan Rickman film?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I know he was in Die Hard.
Right.
I know. However,
the quintessential Christmas movie?
Yeah, right. But no, you know what? I must have watched Robin Hood like at least 100 times when it came out. Like, I loved this movie to the point that I could recite blocks of the dialogue. And he just was so captivating in this role. Like, he commanded this role. I mean, every role he does, like Snape, come on. He's so brilliant.
I find it funny that my keep is also an Alan Rickman film. I mean, it was going to be. It's freaking Alan Rickman. But it's not Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And it's not Dogma. No. It's Galaxy Quest.
Excellent choice.
Right? First of all, Galaxy Quest is arguably the best Star Trek film. It really is. I mean, if we were to do films starring Tim Allen, this would probably be my keep pick. If we were going to do films starring Sigourney Weaver, this would probably be my keep pick. If we were doing films starring Sam Rockwell, this would possibly be my keep pick. It is such a good freaking film. As a sci-fi geek, I appreciate it. As a comedy fan, I appreciate it. As something that is almost entirely meta, I get it. because I watched Star Trek, I think I enjoyed it even more. And I think that's the funny thing. It's not like it made fun of Star Trek per se. And it's not like it necessarily made too much fun of the fandom of Star Trek. But it really kind of made fun of the absurdly huge world that surrounds the fandom of Star Trek, and even pokes fun at the egos and whatnot of Hollywood stars. Like, there's so many layers to Galaxy Quest that even if you were to just sit there and say, has nothing to do with Star Trek, has nothing to do with Star Wars, has nothing to do with any of that, it's just a decent little sci-fi story, you'd still buy it because the action is fun and the lines are fun. And this is one of the best comedies of the 1990s, I think. And there would be a lot of people who would sit there and say, oh, well, quite perhaps maybe, because the 90s did have some good comedy films. They also had some bad comedy films, but they had more avant-garde type films. Like, the 90s was prime Quentin Tarantino era. The 90s was, prime counterculture type era. This is just a straight up fun comedy that knew exactly what it was, knew exactly the audience it was playing to, and has become, maybe it wasn't necessarily a box office hit, but definitely this film may have more legs than any other comedy film of that entire decade. Then we get to our watch pick, and I'm going all the way back to the early 80s and a role for Maggie Smith, who of course was Professor McGonagall. I'm going to go with the original 1981 Clash of the Titans, where she played Thetis, who was the mother of Calibos, who was spiteful for what Zeus did to her son and basically cast Perseus to Earth. This film, when I watched it as a kid, and keep in mind, this film came out when I was not even 10. Fantastic. Completely drew me in. I didn't understand at the time the importance of the work done by Ray Harryhausen. I believed in the monsters in this film. I believed in what was happening on the screen. I even didn't mind the frickin' little golden owl boo-boo. Clash of the Titans, to me, was one of those films that expanded my imagination at a young age. It was Greek mythology. It was an adventure story. It was the hero's journey. It was all these things that is the basis of cinema for decades and decades and decades and eons, it feels like. Since the time of cinema, Clash of the Titans played on everything that makes storytelling and movie making great. Even with Harry Hamlin's big 80s hair, Clash of the Titans was phenomenal. All right, Carrie, your watch pick.
I'm not going to lie, this entire assignment doled out by Snape was a very challenging one. To me, it felt like playing like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, because there are so many incredibly talented actors, whether it be from the adult professors who have had long-standing careers, or the brand new child actors, the next generation of actors, with, the golden and the silver, trio, right? And Dumbledore's army.
Are you telling me that in handing you this assignment, I was very Snape-like in its cruelty?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to ask you to pick your movies, but you're only allowed to use the actors once.
Well, again, I found of all of the assignments, this one I put the most thought into, and there are just so many great movies out there, and I'm literally stalling right now.
You are stalling
there
entirely.
Are so many great movies out there that it was hard.
But you only need to pick
find.
one for your watch, because I guarantee you this is the kind of topic where we could come around and do a volume 2.
Okay, fair. So I'm going to take you back to when we brought the boys on a family trip to the falls, and we had the forethought of getting the play all day pass at the arcade and that 4D movie ride. And the movie in question that our oldest was really big into at that moment was Monster Family. And Monster Family, the gentleman turned vampire, was voiced by one Jason Isaacs.
Okay.
Lucius Malfoy. So Lucius, of course, being the very commanding presence, played so well by Jason Isaacs. He just owned his screen time and scared the hell out of Draco. And the viewers, of course. You know what? There is just something so great about his voice, and the fact that he played the vampire, the dad, Monster Family. And you know what? After that ride that it almost seemed like we were stuck on, that happens when you go to an amusement park and you get stuck on a ride and you feel like you're going to be there forever, except this was intentional, and we would just finish the ride, and then eventually the ticket taker got to know us that we would be back, so they didn't at that point didn't even ask us to leave our seats. We just waited for the next show, and we watched it. What? It had to have been at least 25 times.
It's funny you mentioned this film because I am literally getting like PTSD
from the ride. But you know what? It was a really cute movie series. Very much so, yeah. They had 2 of them, right? The Monster Family 1 and 2?
I do believe so. The funny thing is I was actually looking at Jason Isaacs films for my watch, but I did not want to be Captain Obvious because, of course, he has done a lot of cartoon voice work, of course, with Monster Family being one of them. But I'm going to hold off because if we ever do a volume 2, I do want to be able to have that option. But I will say that we have covered a film with Jason Isaacs in it already for It's Not That Bad because, of course, long ago we did an episode on Cars 2 and he was Leland Turbo.
What?
Yep.
That was completely not on my radar.
And yet here we are.
I didn't know that. Oh.
And here we are. But now comes the hard part. Your pass film for movies with actors outside of Hogwarts.
Oh, not at all. This was the easiest question of all of them.
Really?
Truly. I am so sorry to a young Harry Potter, but I had to pick Daniel Radcliffe's What the were you thinking? Call your agent, get him on the phone, because Swiss Army Man? Really? Like, can you imagine that phone call? Hey, Daniel, what's up? You want to play a dead guy? Like, the entire movie?
At first, it's like, I'm intrigued.
Oh, my God. I tried to watch this movie thinking, okay, it's got to get better. I think I got halfway through, and then I was like, yeah, no, it's not gotten any better, and it's just getting weirder. Skip. And the thing is, it doesn't qualify.
No, I was actually just going to mention that this film does not qualify for It's Not That Bad because it actually has a unified rating over at Rotten Tomatoes. Both audience and critic score sits at 72% for this film that has the Riddler riding Harry Potter like a boogie board.
I don't get it. Please somebody tell me, what am I missing? Because, whoo.
I mean, I understand the idea of Daniel Radcliffe wanting to try different roles that are not Harry Potter-esque. And by the way, massive kudos and congratulations to Daniel Radcliffe for winning a Tony this year. Congratulations. Well deserved. And for the record, Miracle Workers is a phenomenally hilarious show. Loved you in that. But yeah, I understand wanting to do weird avant-garde type films, like something different. And this is definitely different. And I'm with you on it. Like, I don't mind like an oddball film every now and then. This ain't it.
Okay, so Get Weird. Get Weird Al. That was brilliant.
Right?
But whoo.
Like I'd be curious to watch Horns. That looks somewhat interesting.
Yes. Oh
You
my
know?
God, yes.
Yeah. And what was it? The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum. That was good. He was great in that. It's awesome. Memory serves that he's also in Now You See Me Too. So those are different roles for him. I can only imagine the pitch session for this. I can't.
So you're saying I'm a dead man,
Mm-hmm.
and a dude's gonna surf on me, and whoo, like
this is like literally the extreme isolation version of Weekend at Bernie's.
yeah, but at least Weekend at Bernie's, like there were subplots and stories. This was just, it was like an adventure movie with a stiff.
Yeah.
And that's...
Are you saying Daniel Radcliffe's performance in this was stiff?
The scene that I finally decided to turn off, it was.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
What, did you not... You saw it, didn't you?
I think I tuned out.
Do you know what I'm talking? Okay.
Maybe I don't want to
Rewatch. No, it's not worth that.
No.
Woo!
All right. So
I think we just broke the internet right there.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think we did. All right. So my pass film is from an actor that I normally would never pass on because he is one of the most fantastic actors working today. I'm picking a Gary Oldman film.
Ooh.
I'm picking a serious black film here.
Bold move there.
But I think you're going to agree with me when I say that my past film is The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Dear listeners, I'm going to save you whatever the cost of Netflix is these days. So just bear with me here. Watch the trailer. The best parts of the film are in the trailer. The trailer made this film look funny, and like you've got Deadpool and Nick Fury playing off each other, and you have Sirius Black as the bad guy.
What could go wrong? How bad could it be?
Lots could go wrong. The Hitman's Bodyguard, when it just wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. Like, and it's an action comedy. I get that. And we've covered action comedies on this show, and that's fine. But I was bored. The action wasn't action, and the funny wasn't funny. The Hitman's Bodyguard was maybe one of the biggest lunchbox letdowns I've seen from Netflix. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm just saying the trailer made it out to be more than it was. I can't believe they made a second. I really can't believe they made a second. All right, Carrie, time to remind our listeners what movies you picked from Hogwarts actors outside of their robes.
I am always keeping and watching Robin Hood. I am watching Monsters Family because we did like 25 times consecutively.
And over and over and over and over.
Thanks, buddy.
Over.
Yeah.
And over.
But you know what?
And over.
At the time,
And over.
it was enjoyable.
Was it?
Didn't hate it.
Was it?
It was cute. And I am hard pass on Swiss Army Men.
All right. I am keeping Galaxy Quest. I am watching 1981's Clash of the Titans. And I am passing on the hitman's bodyguard. Carrie, thank you so much for this. Now, dear listeners, we want to know what movies you guys would have picked. So hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out all of our other shows and our coming soon page. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.